Happy New Year!
Hey,
Happy New Year.
Welcome to another
Hey.
Age of Grogu, everybody out there. And yes, it is the first of the month. It is 2023. Oh my god. 2022 went so fast, guys.
Oh boy.
How
did
crazy was
it?
that? It did for me.
Yeah, it went
I'm
fast.
in
It went
it.
fast
Yeah.
for me too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
guess so.
It just goes
fair
really
enough.
quick.
Fair enough.
Nah, felt long.
Yeah. What did you guys get up to over New Year's Eve? Anything much, or just pretty much chill?
Listen to the rain.
Didn't do anything.
It was
Yeah, it was
wet
raining.
yesterday.
Stayed in.
Yeah, I didn't want to
Yeah.
be on the roads yesterday. It was just so wet and at least
Yeah.
dangerous at any time. But on the roads
After
in the
people have been
rain.
drinking on New
Oh yeah,
Year's,
yeah.
like,
On New
not a
Year's,
good
it's like
combination.
nah, not really. I really just want to have a quiet night. So
Dude,
yeah,
my
it wasn't
neighbor
anything big.
set fireworks off his roof last
Oh,
night,
jeez.
just like a cluster of them. And I was
Oh
like,
my
"What the
god.
hell is going on?" And
Wow,
it
That
was
was my
like
street all
10,
last
I was
night.
gonna say
like
freak out the
10
cats.
minutes. It was like 10 minutes after the countdown happened
Oh
too.
really?
So
Oh
I
wow.
thought
They
like
missed it.
I thought mortars were like landing on my roof accidentally. I was
Oh wow.
crazy.
Wow, that's
And I
crazy.
just looked out the window. It was like
Did it
we have one of
freak
those,
out the
like,
cats?
pulses. They freaked
Yeah.
out a bit.
Uh-huh.
Gigi like ran away.
Of course.
And then Loki was just
Yeah.
like frozen, but they weren't that bad. It's not as
Right.
bad as downtown.
hmm
Downtown, like couple years in a row, it's just like fireworks right at our window.
Oh really? Oy,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
just because
Well-
like you're right off the street and we're on the 11th floor, so it was like they were busting like,
Oh,
right
yeah.
outside of our
Oof.
window.
Damn, just everything echoes in the street area. Anyway, I figured since there has not been a lot of news this past week, obviously it's a pretty quiet week. We might jump in and do what our top movies and top TV shows, things that we disliked in 2022, and things that we are anticipating for 2023. And then maybe we'll fit in a little bit of a discussion on that Willow episode that dropped last week, episode
Didn't
6.
a bunch of celebrities die this week?
Barbara Walters.
I mean,
Haley,
No.
there's that
Oh,
fashion
yeah.
lady.
it was for me. Yeah, Vivian Westwood and
Yeah, Vivian Westwood.
Oh, yeah.
Terry from the Specials. Like
Yeah.
almost 2 days right after. Oh man,
Yeah.
those are two icons
Yeah.
for me. That are like
Yeah. There's a
Terry
lot.
Hall and Vivian Westwood. Those are like two icons in my
Yeah.
book.
Yeah. I think Kevin Conroy this past year was the biggest personal loss of I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I followed that guy since Batman the animated series came out, and
I know.
since the 90s, early
Yeah, that's
90s,
sad.
and
Yeah, we were like the
that
Queen
was
who?
just-
But
yeah.
Kevin Conroy.
yeah, Kevin Conroy. No. I mean, we had a big loss of throughout the year, but that was a big one for me.
Yeah, that one hit close to home.
Yeah,
That one probably affected our lives the most.
in a weird way, isn't it? I mean, at the end of the day, they're just still actors, or they're just still.
It shows us
creators or
how
whatever,
much
but, yeah.
Batman, animated Batman, is pretty much the quintessential Batman of all
For sure.
Batmans.
Yeah, no, I do
Yeah.
agree. I do agree. That was a sad one there. So yeah, moving on from that, shall we start talking about what our favorite movie was?
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
Oh, wait a minute, how are we doing?
How are you doing
Oh,
Going
this?
from the top five? I
What's
know
that?
you.
Well,
We're
okay,
going
so
with our top five. How are we doing that? Like,
well, yeah, no, I
we're going by number one, or what are we doing?
in some cases, some of them are numbered. In some cases, they are not. For example, I mean, just anyone want to go first? I'll pull up
Actually,
this-
why don't we go
yeah.
through each person, go through their list,
All right,
and then
okay.
we'll talk about it
All right,
afterwards.
I
Just
will-
you
I
can
will-
just say what you have.
Okay, I'll start with it then. My favorite films this year, and this is not the correct order. This is just randomness. But Glass Onion, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Wakanda Forever, Pinocchio. That's the Del Toro Pinocchio, not the Disney
Oh, yeah.
Pinocchio.
Make that clear. There were
and-
three, at least three.
Yeah.
I
I'll
can
be
think of.
specific
Yeah,
this year
yeah.
about which Pinocchio you liked.
Yeah, and then Top Gun. Were in the top 5 for me. I honestly, and then I had to do 2 special mentions. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers and the Batman were very good as well. I was very entertained by all of that. I picked my top 5 of anything mostly on how it energizes me as a moviegoer.
Yeah.
It can be the most brilliantly done movie or show or whatever out there, and I may not be totally charged up behind it. It doesn't mean it's a bad film or a bad show, but for me, it's just a matter of
He's priming us for his
I'm
opinions on
priming-
Andor.
What? Wow, that was low. That was low.
No, that was on point.
No, I
But
think
but out of all the films, I'd say that Everything Everywhere All at Once was my number one film of the year. I purely was blown away by that movie. But Glass Onion for me also is probably one of the best laughs I've had in a long time in a theater. I think Ryan Johnson nailed the intensity of that film. I figured we'll do our top movies and just we'll talk through them, and then we'll kind of break down anything that we. I don't know how we're going to do this.
crossovers. Yeah.
Yeah, crossovers.
There's a crossover a lot.
But yeah, just going through that. Wakanda Forever, I came out very moved from that movie. I very much felt like it was what I wanted it to be given me. It gave me the emotion of the loss of both Chadwick and the character of T'Challa in the MCU. And I felt that drive pulled through. And even though it had some weaker points going through here and there, it still was one of my ones that I emotionally came out of quite highly out of. Pinocchio, Del Toro's Pinocchio. I never got the chance to see it on the big screen. I only watched it on Netflix. I loved it. I mean,
I would have liked to see it in the big screen because I really enjoyed it, and I only saw it like on online.
It was a slow burn because I was trying to see, it wasn't doing what I was expecting it to be doing for me in the first half an hour of the film, because it really was just following almost a semi-traditional story of the Pinocchio character and the development, but then just all the changes that go on from there, which is fantastic.
Yeah, a lot of screen time on like his son that he had,
Yeah.
and like I don't remember, they didn't touch upon that on any like at all in the Disney one, right?
I never saw the
That I
Disney
could
one,
remember.
so
Well, no, like
No,
in the,
yeah, they-
I'm talking about the original
hey,
cartoon.
how's it going there, Gambit?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Happy New Year.
Yo,
Yeah,
Hey,
he's just
Happy
he's
New
just a
Year,
toy
Zach-
maker or whatever.
Zachary.
He's just a wood clock maker.
but
or
yeah,
whatever.
Right.
did they even reference that he had a son in the original Disney one?
I don't think so. I think they skipped over it.
I can't remember. Oh, the original Disney? I can't remember.
Yeah, like the
It's been so
cartoon.
long.
I
Since
think that
Maybe
one's over,
one
right?
small
That one's
reference in, like,
weird.
the prayer that Geppetto does or something. He maybe bring me like
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe like
I think
a
he
small
he
phrase.
made a prayer that he wished he had a son. I think it
Yeah,
was,
because from what I watched, we turned it off like partway through. But like
Oh,
the
really?
remake of the Disney one, like they did kind of nod to that he had a son. And
Oh, really?
And they did it in a
Yeah.
way it didn't work. It did not work in
Wow.
the Disney. In the
Okay.
I watched a portion of that and turned that off. But
Right.
Yeah, but like they did spend a lot of time on it, which I guess, judging from like what Pinocchios we've seen, isn't very tradition anymore. Just to know that he had a son that died,
Right.
that kind of
Yeah.
catches you off guard of being like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
this is a lot of screen time for his son." It's
Yeah.
like die already, so he could carry on with the movie, right? Brent?
No, wow. Okay, yeah, I guess you could look at it that
I
way.
mean, he's kind of a plot device.
But at the same time,
Pretty
it just,
important one.
The scripting, the choice of the way that
In a
the script was
church
done.
of all things,
Yeah,
too, right? It's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. No, and then the process of the characters that you met along the way, and how it just got darker in those
Got bleak,
areas
for sure.
and all that.
That's
so
good.
yeah, the kid couple. Yeah,
Well, it's like
spoilers out there for anyone.
It's
who's
like I
listening.
know he was gonna die. I mean, it's the first act, guys.
Yeah,
so-
it was obvious
But
it was going
it's
to
like-
happen, but it was still very
yeah. It's just like a matter of how.
Happy
And
New
you're
Year.
like, oh shit, what year is it? You know?
Yeah. No, yeah, I like that. I like the choice of the time period that they did that film in. And then the other film, Top Gun, for me, I just had fun with that film. I came out of it entertained. I liked it way better than the first one. I know Max is going to have some stuff to say
You'll
when he
see
goes
on
through his...
one of my other
Max will go through his list in a minute. But I had a lot of fun with Top Gun. And then, as for Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, it was on earlier in the year on Disney Plus, and it dropped. And I never really truly followed the animated cartoons, but I knew enough of the '90s, Chip and Dale series. But they played some awesome homage to everything.
You don't even need to know.
Yeah, you didn't. I mean,
show.
Yeah,
I knew what it was, but it wasn't my show. But it all worked. It worked. That was I
It
didn't put that on my
shouldn't
list, but that's
require. It shouldn't
It was a
require that
Saturday
you know
morning
anything about
cartoon
it, you know?
homage.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And like
and it's
Roger.
self-explainable, even if you didn't like, if you know nothing about it, like explain itself.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Roger Rabbit of our time. So
yeah,
it
it kind of was. Yeah, that's a good. That's a good analogy.
Way.
Yeah, definitely a good analogy. But yeah, I enjoyed that tremendously, and I still need to sit and watch it again, but I did enjoy it. And it puts it up there because I felt fresh, even though it was nostalgic. It was fresh. I guess I am more geared towards nostalgia. And then the final one there. Oh, be quiet. And then the Batman was the final one. It. I was.
Tell me to be quiet.
No, I can just mute you for that.
Fight him right now.
Man, I'm already on his nerves, guys.
But yeah, the Batman for me, I very much I enjoyed this rendition, and I went into the film thinking I was not going to enjoy it because I've seen so many Batman movies and different versions that I thought, you know what, we're going to get another version, and it's not going to. But then I came out of it and I was like, you know what, I was greatly entertained and it hooked me in the first like 5 minutes, which surprised me. I did not expect to be hooked straight away, and straight away the first 20-minute intro was almost like Batman Year One, almost, of the way they dealt with stuff, and I thought it was great. So they were my kind of. They were kind of my favorite movies of the year. What do we got here? Gambit. Okay.
God of War Ragnarok. That's definitely top game of the year for me. That's the best game that's come out this year. For sure.
Well, yeah, I'm hearing a lot about that one.
Interesting. Yeah,
they just announced a TV show of it too. It's gonna be a banger. Hopefully.
That's one thing I want to mention. We're not really mentioning stuff that we haven't seen. I know there's a lot of movies and TV shows we haven't seen. Example, Gambit puts there Better Call Saul. I do need to sit and watch that. I haven't seen that yet.
The bear.
So exactly. Yeah. So
bear.
We'll go into that next.
Yes.
So, who wants to? Yeah,
God of War has that much of an impact. I never played it, but I based my whole look on it,
So who's up for going next? For the best movie, their favorite.
I can go next.
Top movies. Huh? Okay, all right, Max. So Max, this is what we got here. Max's favorite
number
movies.
5, The Northman.
Okay.
Yeah, not much to say. It was a killer movie. It was dark. It was gritty. Some cool Viking action, great story. Anya Taylor-Joy is amazing in it. Whatever that Swedish guy who played the lead is great in it too. And some awesome volcano action.
Alexander Skarsgård.
Yeah, that guy.
He's in it. Okay, all right. See, I haven't seen it, so I'll have to make a habit of checking it out.
It's funny because his mom plays his wife on Pretty Little Lies. Or what's that one movie that show takes place in Monterey? Nicole Kidman plays his wife.
I have no idea.
Yeah. It's now.
But then she plays his mom.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant his actual mom for a sec. I was like, what? That's like some weird. Never heard of Hollywood going that far.
Right?
Yeah. Next on that list there.
The Menu. Pretty recent movie. Really great kind of drama thriller. Another Anya Taylor-Joy movie.
Right.
It was just that was a really fun movie. Ralph Fiennes is great. Nicholas Hoult was amazing in it. John Leguizamo was probably the best he's been in years in that movie.
He's always hit and miss. Like he's got to be in something that fits for him perfectly. Otherwise, if he tries too hard, it's just not good.
Right.
Exactly. And this was the perfect role for him. He really knocked it out of the park.
Put that up there with The Pest and The Violator.
Oh yeah.
He was a good Violator.
So what else have we got there?
Glass Onion. We've all talked about. I'm sure we'll get into it more, but it was like a 9 out of 10 movie. It was so good.
See, I'd put it out 10 out of 10 for me, but that was just personally. Again, every step of the way throughout that whole film was just fun.
Yeah.
Why 9 out of 10 though? Why 9 out of 10, Max?
The only thing I thought it was missing, I don't know. I thought some of the supporting characters weren't doing enough. I love Catherine Hahn's character, but she just didn't do enough for me. She was just kind of there to be another maybe she did it, but
Right.
I don't know.
I actually
Yeah,
thought
you know
she
what?
might have done it at one point. Well,
Me
again,
too,
spoilers
just because
because
of who she is.
yeah. Again,
Oh
spoilers.
yeah, but that's the magic of it. It's like anyone could. It's
Yeah,
like once
anyone
I
I
could.
think someone.
Yeah.
I wish they explored some of the other characters a little deeper, so we could have maybe more,
Yeah.
something to grab onto with them. Dave Bautista was just easily
He was
top
great.
10 in that movie. It was just, his
Yeah.
I
performances
haven't
was just
seen
it was out
those.
of the park.
Oh, TV. Yeah, we'll go into TV soon.
Severance was great.
Severance! I
to put that
forgot
on the
about
list.
Severance.
I just
Oh,
realized I
you
forgot about
updating his
that.
list right now. It's like,
We'll go into TV. We'll get past the movies first. Yeah.
Oh man, forgot
Yeah,
about
Babylon
What?
number two.
Babylon.
It's another
Mhm.
super recent movie about
Okay.
the turning point in Hollywood between the silent era and the early talkies.
Right.
Yeah, it's just
that's
pure
on. I
Hollywood
want to see that.
excess.
That's on my I want to see
Yeah,
list.
I've been
I
meaning
haven't
to
Yeah,
seen
I
it
do
yet.
want to check it out.
Tobey
I've heard
Maguire
mixed.
went on.
I've heard the opposite though. I've heard a mixed where
I mean, yeah,
some people
I
haven't
like people
enjoyed it
wouldn't
too.
like it. The
Yeah.
plot isn't that thick throughout the movie,
Gotcha.
but
Okay.
the performances are incredible. Tobey Maguire has like a brief role in it, and he just
Right.
after seeing that, he needs to
Yeah.
play the Joker. Like he's just pure
Really?
insanity in the movie.
Nice.
Like
I've seen the piece in the trailer. He looks
yeah,
great.
you see him
like, the
just
makeup
laughing
and
in the
everything.
trailer, and just
Yeah,
his
yeah.
whole performance is just like that, just chaotic
Yeah.
energy the whole time. It's just
Yeah.
an
He was
amazing.
he was on
movie.
Reddit last week just promoting the hell out of it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I spent the last week going through what did I actually see in the theaters this year. Yeah, it was crazy.
And
Yeah,
number one, I think I had Clerks 3.
Clerks
This
3.
is
Okay,
easily a 15 out of 10 movie for me.
really?
I was
Yeah.
like
Wow, 15 out of
weeping in the
10.
Wow.
theaters. I was emotional from like the jump. Like it started
I need
the
to see it.
opening
I know.
montage.
I would
and
see
then
like
opening
3 out of the
story,
things
I'm
that
just
Max
Yeah.
listed.
It was a great movie. It was
Yeah.
like I thought Kevin Smith at his best. I think it might be
Really?
his best movie.
Really?
Sing
I'm-
2.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, I'll have to go after Max because I put mine.
Yeah.
I put Clerks 3 at my number 5. I did
Yeah.
love it. It was great. I'm a Kevin Smith
Exactly
fan,
what Sing
and
do.
it really worked. Like Clerks 2 was okay. Like Clerks
Uh-huh.
2 is okay. Like it's all right. Like,
Right.
but Clerks 3 really holds up and brings all those characters together.
Cool.
And for the small like hour and a half that it is, it does cover a lot.
Right.
So even though that it's like some majority of it's like stuff he's just repeated, it's just like repeated as like stories that he's been talking about
Right.
since he had his heart attack.
Right.
It's like literally like just repeating it in script format.
Right.
So that's kind of funny to see.
Yeah.
But still, a lot of the jokes work. It's really fun to see all those characters.
It's really
And
good if you're a fan of the Kevin Smith lore, huh?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he brings the emotion to
That's
it.
right.
It
I
hits
enjoy a lot
hard
of
if
his
you've been
stuff.
following him.
Yeah.
Even if
throughout
you're
the
not,
decades.
maybe it would work. But like, especially
Right.
if you kind of watch all of his movies.
Right.
I think the more stronger fans really like dig it. But
Yeah.
that was on my top.
Oh yeah. Let's have a look at your list here. So
Yeah,
you've
so
got-
that Clerks 3 was top
Right.
on my 5.
Yep.
Northman after that.
Yep.
Part of this list is because I didn't actually see a lot of movies this year. I didn't go to the
Okay.
theater that often, and
Fair enough.
I have a list of movies that I would like to be on this. That I haven't seen yet.
What worked for you in the Northman then?
That was one that I wanted to see. I like the director. I like
Mhm.
just the whole feel and the look of the movie. The only one thing that like stands out, bad performance, is Ethan Hawke's performance. Wasn't believable.
I thought you put it in
He's
because
been all over the place this year.
That's
from
right.
Moon Knight to
Yeah.
Weird
I
Little
think he
Glass
got
Onion.
confused on like what
Glass
movie.
Onion?
Yeah.
He might have been confused on what movie he was making at that point because I don't know.
I thought that was like a for sure shoe in because Bjork's in it.
Right. Just stepping back briefly to.
I'm glad
oh,
that
sorry.
she's in it, but it has to do with Icelandic culture and everything.
Oh yeah, that's
You're
it.
like-
Bjorka's in it. That was it.
Anyway, but,
Obligatory Bjork appearance.
Yeah.
it's short and it could have been much longer. I think her involvement of like if she was like a voice carrying him on through longer periods
That
of
would be
time,
cool.
Yeah.
that would have been rad. Like it, like because her whatever. Like I was going off on Ethan Hawke, but anyways, the setting of it is nice. It's just a beautiful beautiful movie. It's
Cool.
doesn't have the best storyline, or
Right.
you're looking for like a great storyline that's maybe not what you're looking for, but it's a beautiful movie, slow moving, beautiful.
That's cool.
Long movie if you can like really sit through and watch it.
Uh-huh.
Bjork was awesome, and she could have had a much larger role.
Right.
I
Right.
think.
Stepping back just to Clerks for a second. Yes, I met Zachary through Kevin Smith's podcast online kind of thing, so we were chatting back and forth. The other thing I was going to say is
Oh, that's
that Kevin
is that,
Smith.
the,
Yeah.
Sons for Sons.
Wait.
Tatooine.
T-
that
no,
right?
Twin Sons.
Twin Sons? I'm confused.
Anyway, Dad Tween.
Is that Zachary?
Sorry, Zachary.
I'm
Yes, that's
confused.
Zachary. Dad
Okay.
Tween. I was going to say, yeah, Kevin Smith announced on his podcast last week, I think it was, that Clerks 3 is now on Blu-ray, I believe, at this point. So I'll definitely check it out when
Blu-ray.
it,
I ended up buying it on
anywhere?
Amazon. It was like $8 or something like that, but I'm like,
cool.
buy it.
I'll check
That's
that
cool.
out.
I've watched it multiple times. It's
right.
it's fun to rewatch, and it's
I'll
just
check it.
it's got its moments.
I'll check it out. It's Twin Sons.
And then back to my list.
Back to your list, because he's forgot.
Sorry.
Yep. So you put Pinocchio
Glass
in there
Onion.
too.
I put I put Glass Onion at my number
Glass
3.
Onion. Oh, yep.
It was very fun. I liked it. It just wasn't my favorite movie of the year. It just was. It was good. I probably would have enjoyed it more if I saw it in a theater. That is definitely like.
It was a great experience.
Doing playing much better in the theater and having that experience.
Yeah.
Especially if it was like on an opening night with people kind of like
Yeah, I saw it opening day.
The audience kind of like participation in that.
Yeah.
Like I could see that helping a lot.
Yeah.
But it's good, and I like all the characters,
Yeah.
and a lot of it's fun.
Great performances.
It reminds me a lot. Obviously, it reminds me a lot of Clue.
Yeah.
Well, they even referenced that in the movie.
They even referenced it at the end, and like the end cards are kind of titled like that and stuff like that.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was thinking that, like, is that like Clue? It was like driving me crazy.
Yeah.
Benoit Blanc hates Clue. He doesn't like.
It's just so stupid.
It was just stupid. It was dumb. I thought his performance was great.
He had so much fun. He
was
so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it was definitely a fun movie. And then what was after that? Pinocchio.
Pinocchio, yes.
Pinocchio in my number 2.
The Del Toro. Yep.
Del Toro.
Yep.
That was just surprisingly good.
Yeah.
The animation was amazing, and after watching the behind the scenes
I still need
making
to
of
watch
that.
that.
It just it makes you really appreciate, like, man,
that's scale up certain things.
Scale up certain characters. It's kind of like the reverse of like Lord of the Rings, but doing it in animation scale. So you have certain shots, like you have a
with
big,
the cricket, right? With
the tiny. They're shooting on the cricket, and they have a small cricket, but they have a giant Pinocchio.
His head. So like for the close up shots of cricket.
Yeah.
Cool.
So seeing that all was really cool.
Happy New Year, Black Loki.
It was surprising. It got me. I mean, that was like one movie that like kind of like got me, surprisingly got me intrigued. Where I was like, "Oh, I'll watch this as I'm doing something," but then I was just like, "Huh." And then it caught me at the end.
Deserves all my attention.
Yeah. Then I was caught at the end. Like it gets you at the end. You're like, okay. It was just nice how they wrap everything up.
Yeah.
And,
what do you think? Do you think best animated film of the year? Hopefully, in Academy Awards wise.
I would hope so.
I would hope so too.
I mean, I don't know if the other contenders.
What else came out besides like Sing 2? Like I couldn't think of any animated.
I know. I was trying to look
a
up
few
like
Avatar, technically.
Burning Red, Burning. That's gonna be another contender for best.
I hear that's very good. I haven't
Burning
seen
Red.
that.
A lot of
like
people
that one
really
a lot.
liked it.
Actually, a lot of people are saying that
on my list.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that the new Puss in Boots is a very good story
It beat
too.
Avatar on Rotten Tomatoes for audience score. But you have to also think about who's voting on that audience score. And once it went viral, it's also like once it went viral, people kind of inflated it because it was funny because it lost to Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots was on an episode of Hot Ones.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What? Really?
Antonio Banderas or Puss in Boots?
No, the actual animated Puss in Boots was eating chicken wings.
Really? I didn't watch that.
You gotta check that out, dude. I was like, what?
I thought I watched all of them this season, but I'll have to watch
you're watching all these kids movies.
Hot Ones, man. That show's great.
Dude, Zachary, I just started watching Bluey. Holy crap, blew my mind. That's such a good show. with the kids.
That's cool.
You know, we watched it with the nieces and stuff.
The
Yeah,
Blues
I'm
Clues
getting
movie?
I don't know anything about that.
There's a Blues Clues movie?
Oh, yeah, right? I didn't know about that.
Oh yeah, there's a new Blues Clues movie where it takes all 3 generations of Blues Clues, the guys that in the
main
all
guy?
the Steves,
Oh,
all the
Okay.
Steves, whatever they are, they all come together like multiverse style to find Blue.
Are
It's
you
like
serious?
a Doctor Who holiday special.
Oh my
Yeah, I
God.
saw the trailer for that. It was like funny.
That sounds interesting. I
Uh-huh.
don't. I mean, I'm not saying I'm a Blues Clues fan, but
He's kind of like become like the Doctor, huh? It's just like a new
Oh, really?
generation each time.
Okay.
He's like they're like 3 in, right? How many?
I think there's 3. Yeah, there's the
current
has,
one's
3 of them.
The current one's Filipino.
Yeah.
That
I thought
is-
he was the current one. He's
okay.
definitely the youngest.
And then Elijah, your
Yeah,
number one,
King.
your number one movie.
my number one, Everything
Yep.
Everywhere All at Once.
All at once, yeah.
Obviously that was great. I mean,
Yep.
there's other movies that I think that I might like more than that I haven't seen yet. I think Babylon, Tar, The Whale, and The Menu are other movies that I haven't seen yet
Right.
that I think are all going to be very strong contenders to like my favorite movie.
Yep.
But that was, I saw that one in the theater, and it was, obviously it was gripping, and it's an underdog because it's kind of a low budget movie, but really, it stands out, and it's obviously like it's good to see Ken Kwan back in, and Ki Kwan.
He's been like winning awards and nominated for awards, and he hasn't.
Oh, I know, it's amazing, and like all the like Screen Actors Guild and like Academy Awards, those aren't all out yet, the picks, but like hopefully he gets.
Be ready to see him in more stuff. He's like currently working a bunch of stuff.
I know he's currently working. Like he's probably working for the next 3 years.
I was just happy to see Data.
Oh my God,
and Short Round back up on screen again. He just seems like a really fun guy. I was just like, okay, this is cool. I'm so happy for him because there was an incredible interview he did. I read a couple of weeks ago that basically said that he left the film industry at the age of 16 or 17 as an actor because he basically, back in the 80s and the early 90s, there was just no roles for, obviously,
no representation
of Asian culture, and he was terribly kind of put back by that, but and he went on behind the scenes doing films behind the scenes, but he had this pure passion, he said, to still want to do film, but he quietly would just say, no, those years are behind me. So he got this opportunity, and what happens, bang out of the gate, he's been nominated for all these awards and been winning awards as well. And it's just like, this is awesome to see that he took that gamble, he took that leap forward and did that.
Well, he comes from a time when, like, if you're an Asian actor, like, you'll be like what I call, you'll get long duck donged.
Yeah.
Where you just become like, you're just kind of represented as kind of a caricature.
Yes. Yeah.
And he if he continued, there was a risk of that,
Correct. Yeah, right. You're right.
So you kind of have to, he kind of sat it out, waited out, and waited for like Asians to kind of have their moment in film after the recovery of like their disenfranchisement in media happened like big time. Yeah. And you don't want to get long duck donged.
Yeah. So, Jason, your top movies of 2022.
Not in any specific order, just like kind of all lumped together. But like, so what rings with me as far as what's good is stuff that kind of represents the times. Yep. Or like has like a impact and kind of reflects, like all good art, I think reflects like the current world or current state in the world. And I think all of those kind of had that feeling with me. Yep. Except for RRR is more of like it's a historical thing. Okay. But it's like as far as like movie making, I think it's groundbreaking. Yeah. As far as spectacle, and kind of brings back movies to like what like a good spectacle is. Right. I don't know if none of you guys have watched it yet.
I haven't watched it yet, no. But you said it was the Indian shot film from India.
Yeah. It's a stunt choreographer who Lee Whitaker worked with, or a director who Lee Whitaker worked with a lot.
Someone we've worked with before.
That brings it context into your life.
Right. Yeah, no. I hear very good things about it. There's been nothing but massive rave reviews on it.
It's just like it's so entertaining. Like
where's that playing
from the beginning? It's just on Netflix.
Oh, Netflix? Okay.
Yeah. Check it out on Netflix. Watch it with a group of people if you can. I had like a friend from like back home randomly hit me up in like first time in years,
Yeah.
being like, Jason, have you seen this?
Uh-huh.
He's like, dude, I ate an edible and I watched it. It's amazing. Like it hit him so hard that he had to like hit me up and be like, dude, you should watch this. Cause like, because we watched Bad Boys 2 back in the day together. So.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
But yeah, what else did I put on there? It was a Glass Onion, which is pretty much a good, everything everywhere all at once. It's just innovation, a lot of callbacks to like, a lot of homages to so many different type of genres, and on top of that, on Michelle Yeoh's career, like her whole life career, they referenced everything through it.
Yeah.
When I watched it, it was at Alamo Drafthouse, and before the movie came on, they primed us with like a montage of different references, like even to that music video of the song that's playing in there.
Really?
Yeah, they before the show, it was just
I remember
like,
talking about that. That's cool.
Yeah, they were showing like clips from like Wong Kar-wai films, all these like behind the scenes interviews with Michelle Yeoh throughout the 90s, and then like a music video from the 90s randomly, which plays in their in their truck when they're sitting in there, which is kind of like a backdrop to like the whole film as well. But what it did was kind of prime us. So like by the time we watch it, I'm like, oh shit, that's a reference to this. Oh my god, that was a reference to this thing. So it kind of brought this new dimension.
That's interesting.
To like to the viewing.
Obviously, everything we enjoy, not everyone's going to enjoy. I like the fact that we've got a different opinion on everything everywhere all at once. Just throwing it in there. Sorry, Jason, continue.
Oh no, it's all good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that helped with the enjoyment of it.
Right.
Because it's just it's saturated with references, that film.
Right.
I mean, it's made by like two nerds who are film nerds.
Correct. Yeah. But I just like the time displacement, how they dealt with that and played with that, and I felt very different than what we've seen before.
It was a heavy concept.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That you're bringing on, and I think anything of the Daniels, they have a knack for making the most mundane thing seem so profound.
Yeah.
And again, this movie really exercised that skill set of theirs.
Yeah. I've definitely talked to people who didn't enjoy it and couldn't get into it. Personally, it blew me away, and I think
I've met some people. I've met some people who did enjoy it. They're just normies, dude.
Yeah. Well, Max, you didn't have it on your list. You were kind of like in the middle with that.
I was okay on it. There's a lot of stuff I liked in it, a lot of stuff I didn't like in it.
Right.
I thought the fight choreography was amazing. I loved the performances.
Yeah.
I was iffy on the plot a little bit.
Fair enough.
It's not that I just didn't.
The plot wasn't really big,
Yeah.
I wanted more intrigue with the plot, and
fair enough.
I thought the personal stuff that they did could have been handled a little better.
Right.
Yeah, that movie was a montage of small moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which normally doesn't pull me. It normally doesn't pull me in personally into a movie, which is weird that it really did for me. But
yeah, it was a pretty simple.
Yeah.
When you look at the bigger picture of it, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
But I think just like each moment was just well made.
Yeah. And that one fight scene, and the fight scene that you would laugh your ass over if you're sitting in a movie theater watching it. I can't exactly say it on live. It's pretty.
Well, ass
ass
is a whatever.
Yes. Neatly you say there's a small statue involved.
The fight scene involving butts.
And plugs.
But I was well then we just went there. I was with a group of friends that went, and we were just pissing ourselves. The entire audience, like I was gasping for air at how funny that scene was. But that was just it was good.
It's good stuff.
Hey there, sucked.
I'm a fan of the Daniels, so I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. And then Jason, your other films there, you've got.
I like the Batman. I liked a lot. I just like because it was kind of like a good analogy of what the times we're going through.
Yeah.
And all good Batmans tend to reflect our times, right?
Yeah,
each generation of Batman is a good cross section of the current things that's going on.
That's maybe why I actually resonated with it, which was interesting in a subconscious way.
Yeah, just like the Batman tends to surprise me every time. I'm just like, whoa, how could it? It's like it makes it just gets grittier. Every rendition
Well,
of Batman movie
but
just gets more gritty.
but it also
Right?
comes from people who are so passionate as filmmakers over Batman. They're not just a director or a writer bought in to fill a shoe or
Yeah.
fill a role.
So it
I
was
mean, I
a
think it
good.
also helps that Matt Reeves was learn. His writing teacher in college was Jeff Loeb, who was a prolific Batman writer.
Yeah, it's
Really?
I'm sure he got.
Interesting.
He was very
Sure,
open
you got to
about
talk
his
to him
writing. I'm
Oh,
about
sure he
it.
that's
probably
interesting.
got
I didn't
some
know
tips
that.
from writing Batman, how to make a good modern
Yeah.
Batman.
Oh, that's
Probably got
interesting.
some cheat
But
codes from
yeah,
Jeff
it's
Loeb.
like going watching Batman Begins back in the day. You're just like,
Yeah.
wow, this is so gritty.
Yeah.
But then watching this Batman compared
It's
to that
even
one,
grittier. I know.
it made it look like
Dude, I remember
like a
when
Schumacher Batman.
I remember when Tim Burton's Batman came out, and it compared to Adam West, that's all we had connection to.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like so dark and so serious, and now you look at it, it's like, oh my god, Tim Burton's Jet Batman is fun but cheesy as hell. But anyway, sorry. And then you've
All right,
got
and then Glass Onion, which we all agreed on.
Yep.
Which is a great, and it made it different from like the first Glass Onion, which was like
oh yeah,
old money, and now we got to deal with characters who are of new money.
new money. I like that.
And
Yeah,
it's just
and
a
disruptors.
representation.
Yeah.
Disruptors.
disruptors.
It was
yeah.
just like it was just the good. And now it was just a good representation of like the stuff we're kind of bombarded with these days. You know.
Yeah.
yeah.
You have
Totally.
Dave Bautista, who is like the king of the manosphere, which I know this week there's a lot of big news with Andrew Tate, and then like the Liver
That's who
King.
he was playing.
Yeah.
He was basically playing Andrew Tate.
Yeah, it's like Andrew Tate. It's a combination of all those guys, right?
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
macho.
And like a lot of those guys have been kind of they've been on the fringe lately on the just as far as like how the cultural mindset is. They've gone from just being like a YouTube channel to this whole like subculture that is kind of just on
and
the
it's
fringes
gone to their
of
heads. It's gone to their heads.
Oh my god,
more than ever
yeah,
before.
lunatics.
and like a subculture that's pretty much like kind of controversial these days. You know, we went from like it went from like Joe Rogan being just like, oh dude, it's fun to watch him talk, and now he's like a controversial figure.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the discourse changed like the lens on these type of dudes, and like each person representing like one type of like specific archetype who's annoying out there. You know, you have like and like Edward Norton being like kind of like the idiot billionaire, like Elon Musk, or just like and our kind of views on it. It's like all the shitheads, for instance, like are a good representation of like actual shitheads in our world. And like just
I was writing things down here, but
but yeah, I think this like if the movie had a good reflection on like the just the current world we live in, and it's a good like kind of good what is it, what's the word I'm looking for, just helps like kind of discuss our current status quo, good commentary, good commentary of our times. I think that's what rings true with me as far as what's my favorite movie.
So let's jump to TV shows for a little bit. I'm going to throw up the ones I've got there. So my favorite TV shows, House of the Dragon, Strange New Worlds, Wednesday, Andor, and Ms. Marvel. Special mention to Peacemaker and The Boys Season 3. So House of the Dragon for me...
I'm surprised you didn't put Superman and Lois.
What? Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh,
damn! That should be a special mention. Damn,
you wouldn't
right.
shut up
You're
about
right.
that,
That should be a special mention. Oh my god, I forgot. Oh, that's embarrassing. I'm going to put that in special mentions.
I guess it's not that memorable, huh?
It was so long ago. Season 2 starts up in March, actually. Anyway, Season 3. I'm sorry. Okay, so House of the Dragon. For me, that was my number one. I absolutely, I loved this series. I think every single episode was practically a 10 for me, a 9 or a 10. I've never come across a show in recent years where every episode has just gripped me and pulled me in at that level.
Except for Superman, Lois.
No, shut up. No, not that didn't have every episode at that level. But yeah, House of the Dragon, I had a lot of fun with. I thoroughly enjoyed the cast. I enjoyed the story. There's a lot of people that were thrown by the time jumps. I was fine with that. I, in fact, have enjoyed shows and series that have had generational time jumps. on them, I feel like it just develops the lore of their back house, of their world a lot
You know
more.
what? It worked for me because it kind of portrays a stability in the kingdom, you
Yeah.
know? Because that's like the
Yeah,
first one, it kept
Right.
going because shit kept happening. But
Yes,
if
yeah.
nothing happens,
Yeah.
no need to show it, right?
Correct, yeah. So I mean that was, and the visuals were great. Everything was practically perfect about that series for me. The other one that was really up there for me, Strange New Worlds. That was the Star Trek series taken around Captain Pike, who was the predecessor to Captain Kirk on the Enterprise. And there's a couple of crossover characters there. Uhura and young Spock and Uhura were in that as well.
This is the
She
the
died
first
this
the
year.
pilot guy that was in the pilot of the
yeah.
first
I forgot
episode.
about that.
Yeah,
That's
Michelle
what it
Nicholas
was about?
Possible. Yeah,
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Aurora died this year.
yeah.
Wow.
But sorry, Elijah, you were saying?
Oh, okay.
I missed it.
Never mind.
Yeah.
He said we asked two different things at the same time. He's talking about Ihara, and I'm talking about
Right. Okay.
the captain.
Well,
You're saying the captain is the captain that was in the pilot of the first original.
the
Star Trek
captain of
movie?
the
Star Trek
pilot, yes,
TV show?
Captain Pike. Yeah, correct. Yeah, he was the original captain before they changed
That's
actors,
hilarious.
and
Well, he comes
so
back
this
in
is
the
based around
original
that character.
series as like what was it, like an
Correct.
android?
No, he was
In the
he was
original
he was
series?
in the original series. Captain
comes
Pike
back?
comes back and he's in this weird
Oh
wheelchair
man,
cocoon
I don't know
thing,
anything
and
about
he's just
Star
a
Trek,
head.
but
He's just a head on a
funny.
in a
They
thing.
bring him back.
Oh,
He gets captured
weird.
or something.
Like a
Yeah.
celebrity in Futurama.
But as shows
Oh,
go,
I wonder
Marhead?
maybe that's where they got it from.
Probably,
yes,
huh?
yeah.
I don't know what they're
Yeah, that'd
talking
be
about, but
interesting.
if that's the
Yeah.
reference,
Well, he's
then
not
that's
a head, but he's like anyway,
He's like a metal, like it's like a android cocoon thing, right?
something like that.
All right,
Yes.
I'm taking it too far off.
But anyway, it's his story on board the Enterprise before Captain Kirk took over, and I enjoyed it. I mean, it was probably the closest that I felt that they've connected to the earlier Star Treks and stuff like that.
Played by Black Bolt, right? Black
Anson
Bolt
Mount.
gone.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
He played him in the J.J. Abrams verse.
No, he didn't. He was Kirk's dad.
He was Kirk's dad, I think.
Oh, was he?
But
Pike
there was
played
another
by the
actor.
guy from Double Jeopardy.
Yeah, but Pike was in the movies as well. So, and in fact, they made even reference to him being.
What else is he in?
He's in.
He's in iRobot too. He's like one of the main bad guys in iRobot.
Right.
I
Anyway,
can
being
only
the
name
case,
things he was in.
it's a decent cast. It's a decent kind of set of stories, and it tended. What surprised me was it took the original Star Trek tropes of how they were going to tell a single one-off story, and they took it to a level 15 for me, where I thought every episode was going with their basic storytelling, completely flipped it upside down, and that's what surprised me about that series, about what you've seen before. It took what you've seen before and spun it around. The other show I really enjoyed, which is fairly recent, was Wednesday, which is based on Wednesday Addams by Tim Burton. It's not the most complicated and structurally strong of story arcs, but I enjoyed the cast. I enjoyed the simplicity behind it. Sometimes it's nice to sit back and enjoy some simplicity behind the silliness. And I've always loved the Addams family characters in general. So that's kind of up there as TV shows that I enjoyed this year. Andor, of course, everything about this series had some of the best production. It had some of the best acting in Star Wars. It had some of the best scripting in Star Wars. Is completely up there. I'm sure we'll jump into more about Andor soon enough.
Yeah, we're all going to be talking about Andor.
Andor, yeah, it took Star Wars to a whole new level and a whole new level of excellence, and so it's on my top top best shows. And Miss Marvel, for me, and I said this when we were watching it and we're doing reaction videos. Miss Marvel for me, it took what I thought was going to be your typical high school drama kind of BS stuff, and it flipped it around for me. I enjoyed the family unit on that series so much. I thought it was an incredible series.
It had one word at the end of the series that changed the whole MCU.
Yes,
the M word.
Yes, yeah, mutants.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Anchorman's got a few of his favorites.
Oh, I
Beavis
didn't
and
watch
Head-Ed.
that yet.
See, again, I was never a huge fan, Anchorman, of Beavis and Butthead.
It was
Moon
a
Knight was
decent
one of your
movie. It was
favorites,
good.
and
Was it
Stranger
that
Things
good?
season 4. Which one?
Yeah, I did like
The
Stranger
Beavis and
Things
Butthead
too.
movie, was that good? That it
Oh, it
sounded
was a
It was
movie? I thought it
good.
was a series.
It was like the new movie was good.
Okay.
I just wish they spent more time in the present and less time on them getting to the present.
Right.
Though it was really funny watching them get to the present.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, solid movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we mean to
As
watch.
for Andor, Marva, yeah, Marva, she was great. I mean, I love the actress, and off the top of my head, I've forgotten her name right now, but she
Scary blonde lady.
huh?
Scary
She
blonde lady is, I
she
believe, her name.
she was in another recent series at end of this year, also Killing Eve, which she was great in that series too, and she was in the Harry Potter movie. She played Aunt Petunia, I think it was.
And she's
in that
also in the
series.
Mario movie, the
Oh, really?
Mario Brothers movie.
Okay. She's been
Remember
around.
She
She's
she tries to put the crystal in there.
oh, really?
It turns into a skeleton on the wall.
Okay.
You guys remember that movie?
Uh,
Oh,
long time
yeah.
ago. My special mentions: Peacemaker and The Boys season 3. Peacemaker. I mean, it's James Gunn doing what James Gunn does best.
God, I forgot to put that on my list.
You,
So good.
there
The
you go.
only reason
We
it
can
didn't
talk
make
about
my
it.
list is I wanted to have a better villain. I didn't love
Right.
the alien cow goo, whatever that didn't even. I don't even think it had.
Right.
I don't even remember the name it had.
Mm-hmm.
White Dragon was cool, but he wasn't really the main villain. He was more of like a
Yeah.
secondary antagonist. I
Adversary,
wish it
yeah,
had
definitely, yeah.
a little bit of a villain hook with it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, maybe it's just set up just to introduce these characters and everything. I thought it did well introducing all these characters, bringing in new characters into the fold. We didn't have to have everybody's story dropped all at once at the beginning, and I liked the slow build into. Well, it wasn't slow, but the building
Yeah.
into the.
I think it
into
allowed
the new
time to
characters.
breathe without having
Yeah.
like like a huge protagonist, antagonist.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then The Boys season 3. It was. I mean, it's for me. The Boys is just a fun genre of series in general, and I don't know if this season 3 was any better or less than the other two seasons, but I enjoyed
dude.
it.
Superhero orgy alone is the reason why this is a better season.
There was some fun stuff that happened in this season, and
yeah, they
I'm
definitely are
enjoying it
surpassing the
immensely.
comic on like every level of just like relevancy and
Right.
the notes that they're trying to hit. And they have so much of a better voice for what they're trying to tell than the original writer Garth Ennis had. I think they're really just understanding what. Yeah, I think they're just really understanding what these characters have the potential to really be.
Right.
Yeah, that's huge for Max to admit that something was better than the comic.
I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the Boys comic. I didn't really finish it. It has some
Right.
crazy twists in it.
Yeah.
And the show, I get why the show wouldn't do those twists, but the show is doing something much more real to our society than just shock value.
It's understanding its medium,
Right. Yeah.
like some things just work
100%.
better as a show and like storytelling wise too.
Yeah. Who's up next for their favorite TV show?
We'll just do the same order, Max.
All right, so we're going Max. All right, okay, Max, go for it.
House of the Dragon needs no explanation. Brent basically covered it all. It was, just a
What is
complete
that
show
show
every
about?
episode.
Hot D.
Dragons, the one thing Elijah does not like.
I'm just joking.
It definitely kept me hooked every week.
I like the hair in it though.
That's the one
Yeah.
about
There
the
wasn't,
people that run the. Oh, never mind. I'm not gonna.
Right.
Okay. Continue.
Number 4 was The Bear. Just great show.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about it. It was just a great.
What is The Bear about exactly? Because
It's about a like a restaurant. What's it? Like a deli in
Deli,
Chicago.
bodega, or whatever, right? Or
Yeah, it's like a bodega.
Mom
in
and pop,
Chicago.
a mom and pop restaurant in Chicago that's run by like a
By
brother
two
takes
brothers.
over.
Yeah, my brother who takes over, and his brother works for him. It's super stressful and chaotic in a really fun way,
Right.
And it's just a great take on the
It's just such
the life of people who work in kitchens and what they go through and what it's just a
Solid.
very
Airtight.
solid show.
well composed.
Cool.
Oh man,
That's
everything.
one I haven't seen yet, but I need to get around to that one.
Right. Is it a documentary style form?
No,
or
it's
is it
just a regular TV show.
okay? Fair enough.
Scripted TV show.
All right. Okay. Next one.
3 was the season of The White Lotus. Just another great show.
I haven't watched it. How many seasons? You said season
There's
3.
2
Okay.
seasons, so each kind of individual. You probably gotta watch the first season to get the
Gotcha.
second season because there's 2 characters that cross over between them.
Right.
But it's just a really great limited series with some amazing acting, great cinematography. I love the Italy setting.
Right.
There's some great, there's great homages in it too to like a lot of Italian film.
Right.
Aubrey Plaza was great. Michael Imperioli was amazing.
The voice of Khonshu.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
See,
Skylarri from Amadeus.
Yeah, that guy was great.
Right.
Yeah, just solid show all around.
Cool.
Number 2, I had Andor.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just that was a ride. That show was just something that kept me hooked every week, and then it felt like it was building something massive, and then that last post-credit shot really dug its nails into me. Now I for me, that was the full circle moment of the show, where it was that's what the show was really about, was both sides of it, and both sides are kind of setting up their chess pieces right now.
Yeah. And then last one.
Number 1, I had Sandman. I mean, this was just 10 out of 10 show.
Still haven't seen it yet. So
it's like a really good adaptation. I'm gonna give a special shout out to the was episode 3 or 4. On the Wings of Death, I think it's called, the one where it's Sandman and Death, Morpheus and Death are talking about life and take a stroll through the city, and it's just what's it called? On Her Wings, I think it's called. It's such a great adaptation of the classic Neil Gaiman story. It hits every note beautifully,
and it sticks close to the source material you said in the comics.
Yeah, I mean, there's one book in the first volume they took out. It's a little controversial. It's a book where Morpheus race bends himself back in. I think he's back in time, and he's hooking up with someone, and then that person gets mentioned in the show, but they kind of omitted that section of the book.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's pretty. They also changed some other stuff, but it's a great adaptation.
Right. Cool.
Great Neil Gaiman stuff.
That's great. Elijah, your TV list.
Yeah, now that I'm now that I was thinking about it, I should have made a few little changes here, but
that's right.
But these are all shows that I guess the only one I would really change is Wednesday, because now that I think about it, that I watched Paper Girls, that would probably take that position or whatever.
Gotcha.
But for me, TV shows are always a lot harder for me to to be invested in, or to get drawn into the next episode. Yeah. So most of all of these are just ones I binged and I wanted to keep watching, or I was waiting for the next episode to drop.
Gotcha.
So I put Dahmer in number 5. I kind of binged that one, but it really did keep me going. I mean, I kind of knew the
that's cool. House of Dahmer, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of knew, grew up with it around when it happened, and you kind of know the story. But they did a really good job with it, keeping you involved and having everybody's different storyline, and it was done really well, and it kind of it enticed me to keep watching. So it was something I was like, oh well, I'll watch one more episode.
Well, it's the best portrayal of it,
Yeah, I don't normally
we all
do that.
know.
Yeah,
but man, you should check out all the American crime stories. Same writer, same showrunners.
Right.
They do.
Some of those don't hold up for me as much, but that's why this is surprising. Just most TV shows don't, or most series don't keep me going. But because it was sort of one season thing, I really like that.
Yeah.
And then I would swap Wednesday out with Paper Girls, because that was another one that once it dropped, I wanted it was a good cliffhanger on each episode, and you kind of wanted to keep Paper going.
Girls based around the comic, correct?
I read the comic book, and I had read the original comic book. I think I read maybe the first kind of 12 issues, and then I kept buying them, and then I kind of lost track of the storyline. I think the TV show is slightly different from where the comic went. But
it's pretty similar, though. It's very similar.
Yeah, it's similar. Up to a certain point, it's not the full story, right? Do they get to the very end of the storyline?
It got canceled. There's a lot. It's a pretty long book. It
goes on for quite a while. Yeah,
huge cliffhanger at the end too. Sucks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's not gonna.
I haven't seen it, so.
But I really enjoyed it, and that was another one that just kept me intrigued. We're okay, I'll watch another episode. And that's cool. For me to do that, that's really rare. So that kind of
this is pretty much what you're basing this. on.
Yeah,
It's like, what
just to
can
keep me
keep you going?
keep me
Yeah.
going on TV
Yeah,
shows because I give up. Like if I gave you a list of shows I gave up on, it would be
Right.
a whole other list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then
Peace-
Peacemaker was like not like that didn't get all dropped at once, right? We had to wait for that. It was like 3 episodes, and then we had to keep waiting.
Yeah.
But that I really loved. I love obviously fun. They just the character, what they do with it, and just the reality of that world. I thought they made that work really, really well. So I love that. And then what did I do? Pistol. That was the show that like I was waiting for forever.
that is a documentary, though.
What's that one about?
Well, it's a documentary or mockumentary.
Oh my lord! It's not a mockumentary or a documentary. It's just a TV series on.
Okay, all right.
On the
Sex
history
Pistols.
of the Sex Pistols,
Right.
revolving around their guitar player Steve Jones, which is kind of like he started the band, and it was the best that you're going to get for a TV series of that for that storyline. Even if they continue to try to pick up other bands or whatever,
right?
In that same sort of like style, I really enjoyed it, and obviously, like that one kept me going. I binged that one just straight through. So I was really,
That's
really happy with that.
Cool.
And then Andor, obviously, it was a great episode. It was great. I still haven't went back through just to binged it all the way through, which I should do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that really holds up. Some of those episodes, especially in the prison stuff, that like what stands out to me the most. From him getting transitioned, on the ship and then going into the prison thing, from that second half of that storyline, it really picks up for me, and I really enjoyed that. So
cool.
And then a few that I didn't put on my list was Sandman. Sandman I didn't put on my list.
Okay.
As much as I loved it, some of those were kind of like hard. Like waited. I'm like, I'll come back to it, and watched it. So I wasn't like, as much as I wanted to love it, as much as I wanted to sit there and watch it all. Like it just took me some time to get all the way through it. And that was the same thing with Wednesday. I did like it, but it was like, oh, okay, I'll knock out another episode. Like I kind of knew what I was getting when I watched the first
that's the one thing about Wednesday.
I'm like, well, I'll keep going.
I liked it for simple
fun.
escape. Yeah.
And it's like I want to see how they handle a few other things, and like I wanted to keep just to see it out, even though I didn't love it, but I did like it.
Right.
And it was enough to keep me going and watch through the end of the season.
Yeah. Jason.
Oh yeah.
We got you. So what we got here?
Atlanta wrapped up.
Yep.
These last 2 seasons of Atlanta, it's like it's hit so hard.
Right.
I thought were bangers, and just like as far as like again, social commentary, reflections of the times.
Yep.
I think it's one of those shows that is pretty much a good cross section of the times and stuff we're going through right now. And kind of like a pioneer in a specific genre.
How many seasons was that in the end?
Was it 4?
4, I think, right?
Yeah, 4 seasons. This newest season came out of nowhere. I was like, wait, already? Didn't I just wrap up the last season?
Yeah, they shot them back to back because they took like a year or 2 off, something like that.
That's why. Yeah, and so like it's just one after the other, and it's just some of the best stuff. Is some of the best stuff, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Malloy, what up?
Best animated show of the year for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, it was animation. Okay.
Oof, man. Yeah, 2 of the things on here is anime.
All right. Okay. So the Bear.
Chainsaw Man too. That's another great one.
Yeah. The Bear. Max said it. I agree with Max. It's like just well crafted, airtight, good character development, good everything about it. It's like, it's good. You don't even need to like roast beef sandwiches to like this.
But it helps.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's how me and Max, when we were watching Andor, we're like, cousin, because he's one of the characters in The Bear, and man, it feels so real. Yeah, that's what I like about like certain shows where like the dialogue and everything just seems like a slice of life. It doesn't seem scripted or anything like that, and I think that's what hits good for a TV show with me.
That's good.
Andor, another thing, just legendary. I mean, I've said I've said all I could say on this stream.
I think it's the one show that we've got. Yeah, I think Andor's the one show that we've all picked as
the glass onion of this list.
Yeah. Yes.
And I could watch it over. I've watched it many times already.
Really?
And,
I've only still watched it the once.
It's the only Star Wars live action show other than Mandalorian that I've rewatched a lot.
Right.
Yeah, I haven't rewatched anything but Mando and Andor.
Yeah.
I rewatched Book of Boba Fett the other day and actually enjoyed it a whole lot more.
BJ and the Bear.
Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man is a game changer.
That takes us back. Yeah, what is that exactly?
It's an anime.
Anime?
So you probably not like it.
No, that's fine.
It's like a hardcore anime though. It's pretty hard casual.
It's a game changer. There's a lot of like shonen like shows that I watch, and they're all like, you know, Hunter x Hunter and like My Hero Academia, which it follows like a certain script and like a vibe and everything. But this one comes along and just like changes the whole thing, and it's a game changer the same way Cowboy Bebop was at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why it hits hard with me.
How many seasons is that at this point?
It's just the first season. 12 episodes.
Okay.
It's good stuff. It's nice and gory, and the characters' motivations are so funny.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Fair enough. You've got it there.
Cyberpunk Edge Runners is another anime that's on Netflix, and that one did a good job. I mean, I've always wanted to play the game. I'm a fan of Cyberpunk just in general.
Obviously.
And they did a good job of making like building this world that seems kind of real, that people are living in, and the dialogue between all the characters, and like when like certain, say, cyberpunk or like future movies try to force a type of slang into things.
Right.
Cyberpunk does it really good. I was saying choom all week. I say, you damn choom. But like
they were really lucky they had that game where they had like 600 hours of dialogue to go up and just like, you know,
I mean, it's good at
the cadence from the way that people talk in the city.
Right.
So it's a really established world, which kind of helped with the world building. But then still, as a reflection of the times of like hyper capitalism at its worst.
Yeah.
And it's a good, like, you know, kind of a, what do you call it? A cautionary tale of where we're headed if capitalism continues. It's just a hyper version of it.
You got some special mentions there?
Yeah, Peacemaker, one of the best comic book TV shows that I've ever seen.
Yep.
It was good. Man, I can't wait. If he's gonna build the DC universe off of the back of Peacemaker, I'd be very happy.
We'll see where that goes. I'm curious to know how that
pick and choose.
We'll hopefully know in the month of January or February, because he's going to announce stuff soon. So
yeah.
I think all those announcements are going to be.
What's that?
I think all those announcements are going to be like really predictable things. I think it's going to be like Superman, Green Lantern.
No. DC have got too much controversy about how many people are for it and are against it right now with him in charge. They're going to have to go more than just announcements. They're going to have to kind of structurally say how they're going to structure this. I think they're going to say how they're going to structure this whole new world to get people comfortable with getting that mindset, because
let's hope
just dropping stuff is not going to be enough, I don't think, Max. I think it's going to be a bit more explanation. That's just me personally, though. Anyway.
So, Max, you're wrong.
No, I'm just saying. I got a feeling. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I'm just saying. I just feel that it's going to have to be a bit more.
No, we'll see. Yeah, I'm eager to see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Brent's passionate about this, like the Indiana Jones.
Oh, we'll see. Yeah. House of the Dragons up there.
House of the Dragons, Elijah, you'd love it. All I gotta say about that. This new season of The Boys, banger, dude. I was pretty roped in. You know, they continue to do good. I don't think they've slumped at all since it started. You know, they're just
going up.
To me, it just keeps getting better.
Yep.
And like just a take on the whole superhero lore is doing it better than anything can, you know.
Right.
This is how Watchmen felt when you first read it.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's just like a modern take on like just the superheroes living in a world, like a
Right.
real world, and this is probably as close as it could get.
Yeah, I mean it's a modern like subversion where it's not based off of like the
Sorry.
Cold War and
Yeah.
intercontinental tensions. It's more based on like capitalism and greed and human
Yeah.
nature.
And it's been getting into the whole like our current like
Yeah,
political
it gets political and it gets great.
and it's touching close to home right now.
Yeah.
Homelander is touching close to home, man. It's like it's getting too real at some moments, right? You're just like, ugh,
Yeah.
it makes you feel gross. And then you gotta take a shower like you're watching the news.
Oh yeah, you're like what? Like you're watching the news. Like shit, I could just be watching the news.
Yeah. And then the last one there, White Lotus.
White Lotus, yep.
Yep.
Yep. Max, you said it. Is just solid writing, craftsmanship, everything solid.
Yep.
Good stuff. Like it's and also really good take on like just how things are as well. Like the hierarchy of socialism, of social status,
right,
is tends to be like a good theme that White Lotus has portrayed even in season 1 and 2.
Right.
Just social standing in the hierarchies of those things.
So we've covered the best of our favorite movies and TV shows. I'm going to put out there the ones that are the worst. Now, the worst are not necessarily we absolutely terribly hated it so much that we just want to spit on it kind of thing. The worst kind of can mean several different things. Basically, in our opinions, what actually what we enjoy, what we don't enjoy, what moves us and what doesn't move us can sometimes fall into the I wasn't as entertained as I wanted to be in that category.
Yeah.
So going through that, my worst of 2022, Rings of Power, Moon Knight.
I should put Moon Knight on my list.
Yeah, Lightyear, Disenchanted, and Andor. Oh, I put Andor on there. Wait a minute. Why did I put Andor on that list?
You also love it and you hate it.
I
hate it because you didn't make it because you weren't in it.
I'm gonna put it out here. Okay, let's start with Andor then. Obviously, I thought everything about the production of that series. No, it's not a mistake. I loved everything about the production of Andor, but for me, it didn't impact me that any other Star Wars movie or show has. I didn't get as connected in the way I come out and the way I feel about stepping out of a Star Wars show. And that may be just a portrayal of myself about I enjoy that little bit of fun, that little bit of silliness, that little bit of aimed at childlike. Now, Andor's not supposed to be any of that, and that's why it succeeds in every single step of the way. But I did step out of every single episode of Andor feeling I just need a little bit more fun in this world, even though there is seriousness and it's taking some dark turns. For me to kind of be pulled into this, I couldn't handle every show be like Andor in the Star Wars universe, because I would lose the interest of what it drew me to Star Wars since I was a kid. So that's just me personally. I put it in there that I actually did enjoy Andor, but at the same exact mutual time, I didn't enjoy it, and it threw me.
Well, I also think, if all of Star Wars turned to that and it just became all of that, I don't think a lot of people would find Star Wars that much fun anymore if it all became so serious and so overly.
Yeah. And because it took away the fun for me, I knew it going in. I was expecting it to be serious. It's exactly what they said that they wanted Rogue One to be. It wanted to be like Saving Private Ryan in space in Star Wars. And they nailed every step of the way, but after watching it, I was like, I'm so glad it's there. I'm so glad it exists. I'm so glad I want to see season 2. But there were elements in there that just didn't hit me the same way a Star Wars show would. Even Book of Boba Fett had moments in rewatching it where I was like, this is Star Wars to me because I'm enjoying these elements that George Lucas had put in there from the beginning. And Andor did not have that, despite the perfectness all round.
What would make Andor perfect for you?
I don't know if there is anything. I don't think you can add what I want into that series.
Oh, well, I know you
That's
can't, but
No,
You need
no.
a
what would make
robot
it
that talks
perfect?
back and
Um,
or sarcastic
that
robot.
that that's
You're
that
getting
is
caught up in the adventure for no reason.
that is what
Throw
is
in a
missing.
Yoda.
No, no, no,
Go there for
no,
no
no,
reason.
no, no.
What am I doing here?
Even
Yeah, exactly.
even the nostalgia of pulling from using Mon Mothma as a character and
Yeah.
certain names and certain stuff I could connect to. It was great in elements. There was the one stuff that actually worked for me in Andor was the two aliens that they met after the escape from the prison, because that felt completely Star Wars in that 2 or 3 minute scene with the two aliens on that gave them their ship and they flew off on the ship. And that was what was needed a little bit more of throughout the series for me, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's just that one there. My other ones, let's go back to the top. Rings of Power. Despite the fact that it was probably some of the most beautiful stuff we've seen done from Weta and Works and all that sort of stuff, I just found it so boring. And I'm sorry for the fans out there that actually enjoyed Rings of Power. I just could not get into it. I found myself just struggling to stay awake watching every episode of
Yeah,
that
it was a
series.
slow burn that went nowhere.
It was a slow burn that went nowhere for me. I agree. Moon Knight, I think I said it when we did our reaction videos. I don't know what I was expecting from Moon Knight,
It
but
shouldn't have been that. That show was just bad.
yeah, again, despite one of the best performances in the MCU came from Oscar Isaacs in that series, I thought he was brilliant.
I honestly
But
forgot about that show.
but I
That's how bad it was.
just
I forgot it too. That's
Yeah.
the thing I hated the most this year.
Yeah.
Thinking about it now.
Yeah, and I just really had trouble struggling with Moon Knight for me. As for movies, Lightyear, I was not a fan of Toy Story 4 when it came out, and even though that was connected with the toy elements, Lightyear was based around the human element of Buzz Lightyear as the human. I just thought it was a weak plot, and it goes back to kind of saying this is what happened when the hierarchy changed in Disney, and they said we're going to cut budget on things, including the scripts and stuff like that, the writing and all that, and the time to write and develop stuff. So I think Lightyear had a big problem with that, and same with Disenchanted. I enjoyed the first Enchanted film. I thought it was cute. Disenchanted is the spin-off that went straight to Disney Plus, and it was so poorly taken away from anything. It was a sequel, yeah. And it came out only about a month ago. And I watched it because I was just curious about it, but it just did not hit any of the same marks the original one did. And it was quite the opposite. I was like, this is really poorly put together. And you could see the actors almost cringing at every line they had to say in some cases. And they didn't bring back the original showrunner of the original film. And it's about 14 years when that film came out, 10, 12, 13, 14 years ago. So it was, anyway, those were my not so favorite of the year because of those reasons. Max?
Let me just
Okay.
make an addendum for this list. I'm going to put Moon Knight at the top because that was really
Okay.
the worst thing I've ever seen. It was just a disgrace to the character.
Fair enough.
But at number 5, we'll put Me Time. That's the
Okay.
Kevin Hart and Mark Wahlberg movie.
Okay.
I don't know why I watched this.
Really?
Yeah, why did you watch?
Yeah, why
I
did you?
don't know what I expected.
Yeah,
It was
okay.
bad the whole way through.
I don't even know what that
is.
is.
Real? Yeah.
It's on Netflix. I think it was the movie
Okay.
they made because they were contractually obligated to, because no one cared. It was
really?
just.
You're like, I'll give this
It
shit
was
a shot, and you're like, oh man.
It was technically a movie. That's what you can say about it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, number 4, Morbius.
I didn't see it still.
Cringe, edgy.
Really?
I think there could have been a good take on Morbius as
Right.
a movie. I think he probably could have had a cool place in the MCU among their underworldly type of stuff, but I just think now he has no chance of just recovery. They made this character so lame.
Okay.
Yeah, the Monsters. Not much to say, but it was just bad.
I mean, it looked like that was going to be bad going
Rob
into
Zombie's
it. That's
one,
like
right?
an
Series.
avoid.
Yeah, it focuses on also the least interesting monster characters. Like, I don't know. I think this Rob Zombie probably watched the Monsters and just, it seemed like he hated it. I was like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this better. And just made it worse.
It's like a tax write-off for him to do this.
I think it was a tax write-off for someone. I think he probably had fun making it because his wife was in it. But
right.
Give
I don't know. It was a mess. To Top Gun, I could not get into Top Gun.
Really?
The whole movie, they're just training. They're like, we're gonna do this really well, guys.
It sounds like a Top Gun movie to me.
I mean, yeah, I wanted something a little deeper. I mean, I don't need a thick plot, but it was the same thing as the first one with just.
I enjoyed it for the simplicity of it, just an action thriller without the plot.
But by the third act, it becomes like just a typical Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movie for
fair enough.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it lost me there completely.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oops.
When I put it number one.
And number one is
Love and Thunder.
That's your number one, huh?
It's like Taika Waititi had Jason Aaron's Thor run described to him and goes, "Oh, awesome! I'll do not that at all, but take everything from it." And it was just.
I think this marks the moment of Taika Waititi's fatigue.
Yeah, I
think he's my favorite director right now. My favorite director. I think his indie stuff is incredible. I think he could have had a great. I think Jojo Rabbit is an amazing movie, but I think this movie he didn't try. He had too much fun. He thought everything he did was gold and funny, and it was just not funny, not good. Just a bad action movie, bad superhero movie.
I have to admit, I was on the border of putting this on my worst list as well. I didn't because I still had that element of fun when watching it, just not anywhere near at a top tier or a bottom tier.
Disservice to so many things, both the MCU Thor, both comic book Thor, both Jane Foster. I thought it did gore so dirty. I thought it didn't care about what it was doing or what it was trying to do. It just tried to be funny and disregarded everything else. And I don't think it was funny enough to justify any of that, which, usually Taika Waititi is funny enough to justify that. But
That's legitimate. That's fair enough. Elijah, we are going to have your...
I didn't have a big list because, if it generally, I think it's something that I'm not going to like, I just won't watch it.
Yep. No, I'm kind of the same way. But
Black Adam, I was shocked at how bad it started off. I'm like, I'll try to give it a little bit longer, and I just gave up. It's like I had to turn it off. It was like, this is bad. It's just not funny or anything. Like it wasn't engaging me at all. I mean, I bowed out.
Reasons. I like Henry Winkler as Adam.
It just wasn't good.
I actually kind of like that one.
The action was a lot better than like Thor's action. I thought the action was
I would.
They did a lot more with what the way the character should fight than something like Love and Thunder did, or Morbius even.
There were just parts of it that got me. There was a specific point where the jet or something is opening out of the garden atrium or whatever, and it unfolds and it unfolds and the ship comes out. And I'm like, that it looks so bad and so unbelievable. Like, it just didn't make any sense. I'm like, I think I gave up shortly after that because it was just really bad. And Willow, it's just, I know we're still going through them. Got one or two more shows. But I don't know.
You're not having fun as we're watching that show. We've kind of given up.
I'm forcing him to watch a genre he doesn't like.
Sorry, Elijah. Yeah, go for it.
It's annoying that it has to be at midnight. Like, I think maybe midnight is a long time for them to be dropping some of these shows.
No, there are elements of Willow that do not work. I agree. It doesn't matter whether it's midnight or not.
It's not holding up. It's just not that great. It's really not, forgettable. It's like we're watching an episode. I'm forgetting.
It is forgettable.
What are we watching?
Yeah.
I'm remembering what I don't like versus what I do like. And it just doesn't. It feels like kids playing dress up. I don't know. It just feels like I don't know. It doesn't feel believable. It doesn't feel real.
I feel like, as I said before, I feel like when I was a teenager playing Dungeons and Dragons at the table, and somebody would put their random piece of music on, and somebody else would put their other random piece of music on, and then suddenly there'd be a drama in the middle of it, and
random piece of music. It's not random. Pink Floyd, Brent. What?
I'm just saying.
I know. I'm busting your balls for not knowing about bands or whatever. Anyway, I get you. I get that. Sorry. I can feel that, but it just It's not holding up what Willow could. It seems like there's a lot of potential, and just
I agree.
Could have been there.
It's for me. It's just holding enough nostalgia to be not down there at the worst. But I'm still having moments of like, okay.
And then the other one on my list is that I was expecting to be good, and I wanted it to be good because of the actors and just the setup of it was Amsterdam.
Right.
It was surprisingly bad. It's just
Really?
That's exactly what I said, right?
Like just like,
you saw it, Jason?
What is happening?
Surprising. I said that in our
oh yeah, you did.
Like, this was surprisingly bad.
Yeah, it is just like how, you know, how did
you get to see Taylor Swift get run over by a car though?
Yeah, you get to see that. I mean, it's like they could have done it at the beginning of the movie, maybe. Like,
that's the first act.
Okay.
How does David O. Russell keep failing upwards and getting these bigger and bigger?
Yeah.
Like,
it doesn't really make sense.
Christian Bale. It's like
what is
crazy.
He done?
Like Silver Linings Playbook.
Oh wow.
He's always
hot
has
for a
like
while, and then he had
that are punched up by like great actors.
Right.
He had like so many actors in this.
Yeah, and that's what kind of the draw to see all these actors, and it just didn't it wasn't. It's hard to put your finger on what was it.
Mike Myers was even
what wasn't working, but it just wasn't working. I don't know.
It just shows like that it's not a guarantee if you get like
definitely.
Right, no, totally, absolutely, yeah.
It's not a guarantee.
Yeah,
I mean, look at movie 42, right?
That was a tax write-off, though. That was for sure.
Everyone was in that,
but that's like a little bit
one of the worst movies ever.
Okay, but the Hugh Jackman sequence in that movie is pretty good.
Yeah, there's some good moments, I guess.
All right, so Jason, on to you.
I didn't. I was just putting what I don't know.
No, that's fair enough. I mean,
my obligatory list.
Fair enough.
Don't have many things.
And I think Max said it with Thor. The Pinocchio Disney, I didn't even finish. I turned it off because it was just, I don't know. These remakes on these Disney movies are just. Come on,
I could have put that on my list too. I was like it looked interesting, but did not work at all.
Right.
I mean, I guess it was just a remake. You know, it was just a cheap reach for just more money. You know,
right?
And like Tom Hanks had to fulfill his obligatory contract with Robert.
Exactly. Disney.
It's just like, oh, I'm making another one. You got to be there. He's like, all right, just tell me what time.
How long can we shoot it? 2 weeks. Okay.
It was just like the original Disney Pinocchio is weird already, and why do you want to dig that up again?
Yeah.
And do like another version of it, dude?
Right. Yeah.
What? No.
Nah.
I don't like that. I disagree.
Yeah. That's fair enough. No, I do agree for the most part. There's been one or two that have worked for me on the remakes, but
which ones? I'm interested.
Okay, one. Okay, I honestly loved the Jungle Book. I thought it was great.
Oh, that was
great. That one was really good.
That didn't feel like a remake. To me.
Yeah. And reimagining was the better word for that.
Yeah. And then after that, I think just followed with like the Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin were kind of just like
Beauty and the Beast was very disappointing for me.
I think they're riding the train on the success of like a Jungle Book remake, which was
even the Lion King. I even though Sean Favreau did that, I did not like the Lion King.
That was the same. It was like, why do you want to do this?
Yeah, that was like a jarring movie though, because they looked too real, and they were like, but it wasn't. I don't think it was like Jungle Book where, like, Jungle Book they looked real but exaggerated a little bit, and Lion King they looked just.
I think Jungle Book wasn't even trying to be the movie the original.
Oh, we already talked about that one already. Yeah, we all enjoy it. I think it's almost like one of our
Melissa, what I missed. That's we need to go back.
Yeah. We'll have to go back and explain it all over again. Yeah.
We're at the end of the list.
And then last one there, Jason, is Uncharted. I never saw it.
I don't even remember it.
Really? It had Tom Holland in it, right?
Ruined the game's idea of what the characters are.
Okay.
I think it's just like Mark Wahlberg.
Really? Okay.
That's the issue with the movie. It's Mark Wahlberg.
Fair enough.
It's that on top of
a
great
character who's kind of like just like an older, like experienced treasure hunter guy who's kind of like grizzled but doesn't really get his hands dirty. And they're like, what if we replaced him with Mark Wahlberg doing action stunts the whole movie?
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Just all those just felt like money grabs to me. I mean, Thor, I was just disappointed.
Yeah.
I liked it when I first saw it, and then I went to go see it again, and I just didn't like it as much. But
I couldn't finish it.
I don't hate it.
Right.
It's just I didn't know we were supposed to do a list of stuff we didn't like, and I kind of saw that Max. And I was like, you know what, Max, you're right, and then put it on there.
Yeah. But there's also in betweeners, and everything else for me was in between. Like a few people in the comments mentioned Obi-Wan Kenobi series. I thought there were things that all worked in that, but there were also things that just didn't work in that series, and I think it was a little all over the place.
Yeah, some episodes were just a little hit and miss in that show
Yeah,
for me to put it on my list.
Yeah.
If every episode was like that last episode, it would have been on my list, but it just it didn't take enough big swings. It mostly filler.
And again,
like it.
Yeah, see, again, hating something or putting something in the most unliked list for me is a matter of perspective. Some of that stuff on that list for me was purely because I just was not moved by what was being said. It may not mean that it's not a brilliantly done and shot show or movie. I just never got connected with the characters or whatever. So that becomes a personal choice. I don't think there's anything we can truly say we absolutely hated. I imagine, though, that Disney's Pinocchio might be the closest to being possible pure hatred.
Thor.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Well, maybe there's one or two. Maybe there's one or two. But I always hate using the word hate because it's not,
I think Thor was an entire movie of missed opportunities.
I agree there. I agree, but I didn't hate it. I didn't put it on that list.
Even from like the opening jump when they're like, "This is the Necro Sword," and it's not really the Necro Sword. I'm like, "Oh, missed opportunity right there." So just from there, it just spiraled on for me.
So this last section could be pretty quick and simple, but our most anticipated movies or TV show of 2023. For me, I've got Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is my number one. I am so excited to see this film. I can't wait to see what James Mangold does.
Yeah, I don't think you've expressed how.
I'm really excited for this film. I'm excited to listen to John Williams' last piece of movie score music that he'll probably ever do as he's retiring. It's going to be this. I think in some ways this will move me more than anything. Is whatever he does with the music score. I'm going to be devastated at the end of this film.
Bad.
Indiana Jones, they're all on Amazon Prime right now. So if we wanted to do Crystal Skull,
they're on Amazon Prime. Oh, really? Okay.
For free or rental?
No, for free on Amazon Prime.
Oh, nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
we'll have to do that. Okay, we're gonna because Jason hasn't seen Crystal Skull.
I think you can do group watch through Amazon Prime. I think. No?
Okay. Check and see
if
someone has it.
Prime? I have Amazon Prime. I think does Brent have Amazon Prime?
I do not.
I was asking if Brent has it.
Oh, I don't think I do. No.
You watched Paper Girl, so I know you got it.
Yeah.
And I'm not
okay, well, we'll do that. We'll do that because Jason hasn't seen The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and we kind of want to do a reaction video.
Really? You've never seen it?
He's never seen it.
I heard it was bad.
Man, you kind of lucky.
It is bad.
It's 14 years old. You may have different perspectives. Anyway, we're not going to that right
now.
Anyway,
around a surprisingly bad movie. That's a surprisingly bad movie.
It came out around the time when I wasn't really watching much movies.
Right. Well, going back to my most anticipated for this year, I should say now. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I just want to see how this kind of saga ends. Although the trailer hasn't really grabbed me. I didn't get totally pulled in on the new trailer. I want to see how James is going to kind of write these characters off and send them off on their way. So I'm anticipated for that. Little Mermaid. Now, despite the fact that so far, with the exception of The Jungle Book, every other Disney film have not worked for me. The Little Mermaid, the animated film, was and is to this day my favorite Disney animated film of all time. I loved that movie. I loved it when I saw it, and I'm curious to see how this portrayal is going to be done. I'm expecting it to be following a suit and be an exact copy as the other films, but I want to see how they do it.
I want to see how they do Sebastian.
Yeah, me too.
That's interesting. I was thinking about that while watching the trailer.
Is he going to be like a fleshy?
You can't have a Caribbean accent.
You see Flounder in the one shot in the trailer swimming behind Ariel. So
I don't care about Flounder. I want to see what Sebastian looks like.
Yes, well, I think Sebastian is going to look very much like the animated Sebastian rather
That's
than
gonna
a
be
crab.
weird.
A
That's
crab.
a weird choice, though,
Because
right?
Flounder looks animated, is what I'm saying.
Well, even if they do, like, if they do
Yeah.
Sebastian looking like the cartoon, that's a weird choice.
Yeah.
Right.
It could be. It'll be interesting to see. Hopefully, we'll get a second trailer soon.
Right? Just like,
Yeah,
it's
Jamaican
gonna be like,
accent.
Grotesque man with an abomination with a Jamaican.
Across the Spider-Verse.
That's good.
I think.
That's fun.
I think above all else, the first Spider-Verse film was is my most favorite animated film up there of all time, alongside of How to Train Your
Little
Dragon.
Mermaid.
Well, a little bit more is my favorite Disney film, but it's not my favorite movie. Across the Spider-Verse is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to seeing, and they've had time to develop it, and they've spent like the last 4 years putting that together. So there's that. And then my last one, Dune Part 2. I really enjoyed the first Dune, and I'm looking forward to seeing the ending of it and see where it goes kind of from there kind of thing. So yeah, those are my top. Max, let's do yours. Your most anticipated.
Yeah, Ant-Man. I just really want to see Kang. John Wick. Should be really cool. It's been a cool series.
It was a fun series. Yep.
Super Mario. Yeah, the trailer really grabbed me. Just looks really fun.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer. That's another trailer that just kind of grabbed me. I was like, I'm not even the biggest Nolan fan, but that one just looks really good.
Yeah.
And
sorry, I just want to say, like, back to the Mario. I'm hoping it leads to like a Smash Brothers movie.
That's what I was thinking. That would be like the ultimate, like, kind of crossover,
right?
Like a sequel.
Right.
Smash Brothers.
The hype between it's interesting. The hype from that trailer, from the Mario Brothers trailer, there's a lot of people that just seem really, really into it, and it seems like they could definitely do a genre.
Max, you're really into it because Anya Taylor-Joy, right?
No, actually, I forgot she was in it when I put that on my list.
She's one of those people that's hard to avoid. Like, she's in everything now.
She's
everything I like is her in it.
Yeah, she's everywhere. So it's like hard to like. What? I don't have an Anya Taylor-Joy. I don't have a thing. I don't have a thing. I swear.
No, I will say she was excellent as Magic in the New Mutants. She saved that movie for me.
Right. Fair enough.
And
where's your shrine, bro?
The Flash, but not for all the good reasons, huh?
Oh no, I'm so damn curious about this movie, man.
Okay.
Like, you got so many weird moving parts that they've just openly announced where it's like, hey, they straight up said Zod is in this movie. Like, Warner Brothers was like, Zod is in this movie. They put out a toy for him.
Huh.
I think I saw that. Like, Warner Brothers said that. Like, Michael Shannon's coming back.
Oh damn!
It's like so, like everyone from him to Michael Keaton to other Flashes to Supergirls to other Batman. Like, it's just gonna be such a mismatch of stuff that's not gonna go forward. That I'm so curious to see what they were trying to set up and how it plays out and just nothingness. It'd be like if you did the Flashpoint book and instead of ending it with like a new 52, you just were like, nah, the universe just does something else, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, they still have time to rewrite the ending to completely fold into whatever they're doing now.
I think that's what I'm so curious. Like,
that's what it seems like. If they're going to do,
sense?
Like, it would just be a nuts movie, and at the very end, they open up. They're in one world where they just end in the current wherever.
Isn't it two of those movies play of the 4 that are coming out this year play after the Flashpoint? So.
So yeah, I look at this new Flash movie being a huge gaping wound in the DC universe. I like to see how the maggots just fester.
It's gonna be interesting.
Kind of like watching a car crash, though. You can't look away, and that's how I feel about this movie. Where it's I want to see how it plays out.
We're about to hit it.
Everyone's okay. I have to you got to inspect the action. And then maybe call the police if there's a murder.
Count the casualties,
Fair enough.
Yeah, count the casualties.
Okay, so Elijah, your most anticipated. Oh wait, you don't have the anticipated.
I don't really have a list. Those are the movies I wanted to see.
These are movies you still want to see, which is we've kind of
we don't
briefly
need to
touched
go over
on.
those.
Okay, all right.
I don't have a big kid. Pretty much what you guys are saying. Like, I have to like sit down and write a list of things I'm really looking forward to coming out next year. But you guys are hitting all the major ones for sure.
And then Jason, your list.
Oh yeah, Dune, Spider-Verse, D&D. I'm actually pretty excited about that.
Okay, it looks fun.
Yeah,
it could be fun.
Oppenheimer. I'd like to see just the was it the I just like the whole.
You want to see the explosion. You want to see the nuclear bomb drop.
I like.
The ball drop, the football
Fat Man
drop.
Little Boy is a movie I think about a lot,
Mhm.
and then just to see like another Doom Core, like
Right.
I'd like to see that. And
I'm excited to listen to the sound that he puts behind this film, because the one thing that Chris Nolan does well is the sound in his movie theater. So seeing a movie with the sound of a nuclear bomb going off, probably a few times, I'm sure, because there'll be some test footages and stuff, is going to be kind of cool.
I'm just excited to see him do a movie like straight without like there being like a big hook
Twist.
behind it.
Yeah. We
Not
haven't
even
seen
twist,
that
just a
from
big
him.
motif behind how he's doing it, like Tenet or
Remember,
yeah,
like, remember we were discussing on our text messages. Like, I feel like Nolan makes movies as an excuse to do something.
yeah.
Right.
Like, what was it? What did you mention? It was like, Dark Knight Rises to do like a plane heist from the sky, or
Right.
like, and he did like Tenet to do like a plane crash
Right.
into like a building, to crash a real plane. Or he did like he did Interstellar so he could like make like a realistic black hole or something like that. And then Batman Begins so he could like tase Cillian Murphy while he's riding a horse.
Right.
If you do this to me, I'll give you a lead role in 14 years.
14 years, you'll be Oppenheimer. And then like and so this to be like, dude, let's blow up a bomb, like nuclear bomb.
Right.
Yeah, let's do a small A-bomb test. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Anyway, that was, I guess, our list of.
Was that the last one?
That was the last one, yeah.
Oh, I do have my list of best comics this
year. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
For big two, Marvel and DC, both of them are Chip Zdarsky. His Batman run has just started this year. It's excellent. It starts with Batman 125.
Right.
Yeah, killer story. Then he's also killing it over on Daredevil.
Right.
He's been writing Daredevil for a while, but there's a new #1.
Right.
It's been going on. It's been insane. Best indie books of the year. Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman Vanish.
Right.
It's killer book. Really great story. Ghost Cage is probably my favorite indie book this year. Just crazy kind of anime inspired, just manga madness. Nice. And Chroma, which is just, this book's out of control, madness, fantasy, coolness.
Is that just come out?
Chroma? Yeah, Chroma just came out.
Okay, that's a #1.
Nice. Yeah, I put all the #1s there.
Right. I completely forgot TV shows. Sorry, I completely forgot TV shows. Oh my god, Ahsoka and Mendo season 3 are definitely my top shows I'm anticipating for 2023.
Oh yeah, Malloy coming through. Thanks.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yep, and then best X-Men comics, because that's got to be its own category for me. I got X-Men Red, which is unbelievable. Some great Magneto and Storm stuff and Sunspot and all some great characters. Immortal X-Men, it's another great book. Focuses on individual characters on the Quiet Council of Krakoa. It's really excellent. Kieran Gillen's killing it. And another Kieran Gillen book, Judgment Day, their big event this year, which was the best Marvel event of the year, probably the best event of the year, and it was just unbelievable, action-packed madness with a really great story behind it. Yeah,
cool,
nice.
This
is the drawing I've been doing through this stream, so I'll show you guys that.
That's dope.
Oh, very cool.
Robot man.
Nice. If you don't already check it out, check out Jason's stream on Wednesday nights. We usually jump on and have a good chat and talk about everything while Jason sketches and draws. Otherwise, apart from that, I mean, that's our 2022 movies and shows and review.
Oh yeah,
2022, yeah, and we've got a lot of cool things coming out. We only just kind of touched on some of the things. I completely forgot this, like TV shows. I should have mentioned, but Ahsoka is definitely my #1 anticipated show, and Mandalorian season 3 is kind of up there too. But Ahsoka overall, So guys, I think we'll call it. What is that? Alternate to Vogu. We're the alternate to Vogu. All right, fair enough. We'll continue to the
early model.
Yeah, we will continue doing reaction videos to Willow. We didn't kind of touch on this week's Willow, but I guess I can't remember what happened.
Nothing. Their hair was not disturbed at all. It still looks fine.
There you go. Yeah.
Christian Slater.
Christian Slater was in this week's Willow, and I think he's gone now. He was definitely a cameo of the week. But yeah, I guess we'll do a reaction video of that. Actually, the big thing we'll be reacting to this week is going to be the Bad Batch. Yes, season 2 of the Bad Batch. Yeah, Elijah, are you going to be joining us on that? Or
we'll see if I'm awake.
Okay,
come on, join us.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
Join the dark side.
There's a good chance we'll drop the Bad Batch reaction video in the evenings, and then the Willow reaction video in the next day, kind of thing. Because we can't do 2 shows at once; it's just too much in the same night. And editing for me would be a nightmare. I'm very excited to see the Bad Batch season 2 animated series. So yeah, so check out for all that. Everybody have a happy and safe new year for 2023. And hopefully you'll all join us. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. If you survived this long into our reaction, we're still here. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, if you're still here, thanks for watching.
You haven't subscribed yet.
I guess it. Yeah, and you haven't subscribed.
Any of you have not subscribed yet. I don't know what's happening.
There you go.
Pick another target, a military target.
All right, guys. Catch you all later. Thank you.
Name the system, guys.